Hey everybody, welcome to Zenny62 on NFL Draft Day 3. This video is a response to a person, I don't know that person's real name or whether they're male or female, but they said that the problem with most fans, not just Raider fans, is that they don't realize that the NFL draft is like the stock market, it's speculative. I disagree. My experience in covering the draft, which goes back to 2005 with my own company, and since I was, 17 years old, 16 years old, and I'm 55 this year, my experience is that particularly after the establishment and growth of the use of the internet and then social media, fans are extremely sophisticated regarding the draft and players, and they find out as much information as they can. No, they don't always have access to as much information as the teams do because they don't have the combination of time and money to get that information. But for those who do, they can get it. But I digress. My point is that it's important to remember they are also ticket buyers. They may not be season ticket holders, they could eventually be, but they're ticket buyers. And also their conversation about a team, positive or negative, influences others to see that team or not. So what you do on draft day as an organization like the Raiders is extremely important because you are making the case not just for what your team is going to look like for the 2018 season in this instance, but the case for why people should take time, stop what they're doing, and see the team, and most important, with respect to the organization, buy tickets and season tickets, even if they're placed on a wait list. So at the end of the day, what you want, ideally, is a set of players that you can afford, that you haven't broken the bank for, that the viewers have heard of in college, because you have to remember, we're in a visual hypermedia generation, and the fans that watch the NFL draft watch a lot of football. So there's a 70% chance they're going to have seen the players that are in the NFL draft. If you pick someone they haven't heard of or they know very little about, and then they turn around and read a scouting report that is, less than, and yet you picked him high, or you passed on someone that perhaps should have been picked in the first round, like a Courtland Sutton, but was available in the second round, they're going to ask questions, especially if they know that in this instance you need a top-flight speedy wide receiver, and that person was on the board, or that you needed a great defensive tackle to take advantage of your new single gap scheme like a Vita Vea, but you let him fly by and you didn't try to get him. Those are but two examples. Nick Nelson, in that context, from Wisconsin, the cornerback, fell because of injury. He's a value pick. Maurice Hurst is a value pick. He's going to be going someplace, even if he's just a free agent, because you can't take away what he did in college, even with his really not adequately described heart condition, at least from a public perspective, okay? So it's one thing for Coach Gruden to have an inside baseball perspective and say, well, gee, I know that these guys are great because I have more information than you. But taking that perspective, while understandable, is also risky because you run the risk of alienating a fan base that has to buy tickets to see what you're going to do. That's the problem. And that fan base, that crowdsourcing, as I call it, is more valuable today than ever before.